Hello everybody and welcome to JGod Gaming. In today's video we're going to be talking about a little thing that a lot of people seem to have an issue with, and that's the in-game stats. What we're going to do is break down a couple examples that just are pure false, and also break down how FMJ and high caliber actually work in this game and pretty much every Call of Duty since the beginning of Call of Duty. If you find any information in the video helpful or you just like it anyway, go ahead and remember to hit that like button. I do have a goal of 200 likes on this video, so if you could hit that, that'd be pretty nice. And then I do a lot of different in-game content related to Call of Duty, specifically in-game updates as well as news. I do best class setups, subscriber breakdowns, and tips and trick videos like the one we're having today. If any of that sounds interesting, or if you've liked the video by the end of it, go ahead and remember to subscribe if you are new to the channel with those notifications on so you don't miss a future video. What you're seeing right here is the PPSH and the real damage values for the weapon. So in core game mode, this gun will do damage of 30, 23, and 19 depending on the distance, which means its time to kill, shots to kill, will always be 4 shots, 5 shots, or 6 shots, regardless of range. And it will cap off at 6. As farthest away as possible, it'll always be 6 after a certain range. In core game modes, all players have 100 health. So when you're looking at 30 damage, it's going to take at least 4 shots. 23 damage, it'll take at least 5 shots because 4 shots would get you just shy of 100. And then 19 damage is going to take you at least 6 shots. It won't be done in 5. So that's where the damage profile comes from. And obviously it has different drop-offs for every weapon at different ranges, and every weapon has its own damage profile. When you look at the in-game stats, it says the weapon has a damage of 6, range of 5, accuracy of 6, and fire rate of 8. In addition to all these data points being pretty much wrong for almost every weapon, they're also missing a ton of other stats that would probably be beneficial, like recoil instead of accuracy, reload speed, headshot damage multiplier, penetration damage, and just things in general that would just make sense when you're describing a weapon. So right here, you can see what happens when you actually equip the suppressor. It's going to bring that damage profile down to 3, but in reality it doesn't affect the damage at all. It only affects those ranges, and it gives you a damage reduction of 0 and a range reduction of approximately 25%. So keep that in mind when you're using the weapon. That's a complete lie there. This gun is always a 4-shot, 5-shot, or 6-shot to kill, regardless of attachments. So let's go ahead and take a look at another weird attachment that supposedly fixes range and accuracy, and the accuracy stat doesn't even make sense. If we're talking about recoil, a reflex sight will not affect your recoil. It may allow you to have better aim down sight when you can actually see the target if you just don't like the iron sights, but it will not boost your accuracy, and it will 100% not increase that range. It does not increase that range at all. So let's go ahead and get into the main ones that a lot of people tend to talk about and have tons of question about because they're relying on these stats right here, and that is full metal jacket and high caliber. So let's go ahead and break down a little bit of what the difference is, because they are completely different and they do not affect damage to the body at all. The way FMJ has always worked is it allows you to shoot through objects with less penetration reduction. So what I mean by that is when you actually shoot through an object, a lot of times it takes more bullets to kill. FMJ will mitigate some of that. So instead of increasing your shots to kill through a wall by 2, it'll only increase it by 1. It is a little bit more complicated than that because there's different varying thickness of walls. Depends if you're using an SMG, a rifle, or an LMG. It's going to vary that particular difference. But that's just to keep it as simple as possible for you. It only affects when you're shooting through an object. If you and somebody meet in the open, you shoot at them, you have FMJ, they don't, there will be no difference in the gun's performance. Obviously, suppressors can't have high caliber, but I did want to give you the example with this because we're kind of focusing on one particular weapon, and I want to talk about suppressors, FMJ, the reflex sight, as well as high caliber. Obviously, the SMGs, like I said, do not have high caliber, but what I'm going to do is explain how it works. And since we talked about one weapon all the way through, hopefully you guys will understand how this actually makes sense. What you're seeing right here on the screen is if high caliber was able to be equipped to the PPSH. You can see right here you got a damage profile of 45, 34, and 29, and it increases that if you get at least 1 headshot, and that would reduce the time to kill, shots to kill, to 3, 3, and 4 if you landed all headshots. If you get at least 1 headshot, obviously it's going to modify the time to kill a little bit differently, but this is if every shot was pretty much a headshot. So, and when you look at the normal headshot multiplier, that number of multiplier is actually 1.1, which in this game does nothing. If you land every single headshot, 1.1 does not do enough to reduce the time to kill on any weapon in the game. So keep in mind when you actually look at the stats, it's going to say it increases the damage profile. But again, if you go head to head with somebody, you're facing them and you guys both shoot each other in the body, one's running high caliber or not, same time to kill for both of you guys, doesn't matter. High caliber only works when you shoot people in the head. So when you use those rifles, it will reduce the time to kill by at least 1 shot if you land at least 1 shot in the head. Even if you land all the shots, it will still only reduce the time to kill by one shot, and that's pretty much how it works. Hopefully I cleared up a lot of information for you in this video, and hopefully you enjoyed the video in some way. If you did, or if you learned something, and if I changed your mind about this and kind of caused you to think a little bit differently when you do your class setup, remember to click that like button. Go ahead and subscribe if you do want additional content. Typically do tons of breakdowns like these, as well as subscriber breakdowns, best class setups, and other news related to Call of Duty and in-game updates. So if any of that seems interesting, make sure you subscribe, turn those notifications on. Obviously, you're still watching, you did enjoy the content, so thank you for that. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.